Hello and welcome to the pre-race show of round 3 of the Southern African Endurance Series. My name is Nadine Wilkin. So, round 3 will be taking place at Kaburga at the Aldo Scribante racetrack. Now, speaking of the Scribantes, if you know anything about South African motorsports, you'll be familiar with the name Scribante. So lucky for us, we had a chance to get Aldo and his brother Silvio to give us a brief history on how Aldo Scribante came about and a little bit of history on their family. Let's go take a look.
Hi, I'm Aldo Scribante. I'm a driver for Scuderia Scribante.
And I'm Silvio Scribante. I'm also a driver for Scuderia Scribante.
So today we'd like to share a little bit of the family racing history with you, which started back in the 1960s with my grandfather under the same banner, Scuderia Scribante, which we continue with today. In 1960 he acquired a Lotus 7 and he had two drivers, Dennis Guscott and Lionel Rowe. I think most of you will remember the surname Rowe. His grandson Daniel, he's a motorsport, SA Volkswagen Motorsport Works driver today. Yeah, they raced those Lotus 7s for many years, and in 1965 he acquired a Lotus 21 Climax, which was a 1.5 litre, straight 4-cylinder, and they competed in the local South African championships, mainly local events and some endurance events in Cape Town, as memory recalls. Moving on to 1968, my grandfather acquired a Brabham BT11, 2.8 litre V8 Cosworth motor, and they started to compete in the South African championships with that car, and that's when Dave Charlton started to drive for my grandfather. And this was to be the start of a long, illustrious career together with Dave Charlton. They then competed with the Brabham, and in 1970 to 1971 they bought, my granddad acquired a Lotus 49C, which was a Ford Cosworth V8 powered F1, and they managed to win the South African championships from 1970 to 1971. Thereafter, 1972, they acquired a Lotus 72D, it's also a Ford Cosworth V8 motor, managed to secure the championships again in 1972, 1973, and then in 1974, my granddad acquired a McLaren M23, and from 1974 to 1975, they won the SA Formula One championships. So yeah, from 1970 to 1975, it was a 6-year straight run victory for Scuderia Scribante with Dave Charlton at the wheel.
And these are the helmets that they used to race in the Formula One, back in the Formula One days. And I must admit, I don't feel really safe with this in my head. But kudos to them for being brave.
And this helmet here is my granddad's actual Alfa Romeo helmet back in the early 60s, late 50s, when he was racing an Alfa Romeo. That was his actual helmet.
In 1973, Scuderia Scribante, back then was Scribante Construction, built the Aldo Scribante racetrack and started and kicked motorsport into a new level in Port Elizabeth. From then, I'm going to talk about my history of my dad's racing career. He always was interested in getting involved in Formula One, and he had interest to drive for his father, my late grandfather, in the F1 at the time. But due to the dangers involved in F1, that was declined. So his interest was always to be a racing driver, and he then started go-karting, and he won 2 South African championships in the 125cc, and then he started Aldo and myself into a karting career, which between the two of us, I think we've won about 15 East Cape and Border championships.
Possibly, yeah.
And 5 South African championships. We've competed internationally, and I think we wanted to grow and develop more into racing and not just stay in karting, and we started car racing. We started racing I started racing for Open Motorsport, competed in numerous levels and classes of motorsport back for Open Motorsport.
In 2016, if I recall, I phoned you and I said, let's have a whiskey. It was December shutdown period. came round, we had a chat. Terry Moss was selling 2 S4 Audis, and I convinced Silvio that we should buy these cars and use them as track day cars for our clients, which we subsequently did. We purchased the vehicles, had a track day, and had so much fun that we then decided to race these cars at the local regional events. And Silvio said to me, well, he's had lots of track racing. Let's get Dad involved. Dad never had the opportunity. His dad wouldn't allow him to race because of the safety concerns back in the F1 era. So we said to Dad, look here, we've got a surprise for you. We've got 2 cars and you're going to be the one driver and Aldo's going to be the other driver. And he said, okay, well, I'm up for the challenge. So off we went to Algoa Motorsport. We started racing there. My dad managed to win 2 East Cape and Border Championships, modified saloons, Class A, 2017 and 2018. I won 2019. But in summary, those 3 years were the best 3 years of our racing memories that we created. And then when was it, 2021, he acquired 2 Lamborghinis. And he said, yeah, boys, let's race the GT3s, and that was a fantastic experience. I'm sure you can comment on that as well.
Yeah, I mean, that was probably one of the biggest highlights of my motorsport career, was when my dad said, I've just bought you and your brother Lamborghini Hurricanes. I actually didn't know what to say. It was a very, very special moment, and I'll never forget that moment for as long as I live. And yeah, we ended up racing them.
Yeah,
we won the South African Championship in 2020.
You were South African GT champion in 2022. We joined South African Endurance Series, racing the SA GT Series under the South African Endurance Series. And yeah, we were there for 2022 and 2021, 2022 and 2023. So we had a really enjoyable time with South African Endurance Series, and yeah, what else is there on the carrying on with the nice little climb.
My brothers are flying the flag high in the Samoa Hill Climb.
We had our best year ever.
This year he won his class. He knocked the Nissan GTRs off the podium for once, and he came fifth in the King of the Hill.
Through default, they had a bit of bad luck. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, but you got to take your opportunities when they present it.
And yeah, so Aldo's got big plans for the future of hill climb coming up, and we both run Audis, and yeah, we want to do well. We want to compete further in the hill climb championships. We're both very excited about the formula going forward, and
100%.
And you know, we look forward to the next generation of Scuderia Scribante racing.
And there is a 4th generation coming along, believe it or not. His name's Marco. We're teaching him in DD2, 125. It's a paddle shift class, and he's shown great promise and enthusiasm. And yeah, we might give him an opportunity in an Audi to start with, you know.
So good, nice chatting to you guys, and we look forward to you on the 1st of June to join us at the SAES 5 Hour.
And that is where legends are trained. Speaking of legends, Aldo will be doing a cameo appearance in memory of his dad, Chalso Scribante, on the 1st of June in our SAES series. So be sure to join us on our live stream or on Supersport to witness that. For now, I'm at ATS head office, and I'm going to see if I can grab Heinz Berzer to see if he can have a quick chat with me, just to see a bit of history on ATS and Dunlop and how they tie in with our series. Let's go. I have the pleasure of sitting with Heinz Berzer to just have a quick chat about his sponsorship with us in the SAES. But before we get to that, Heinz, you started with ATS as a worker and now you're the boss. Can you tell us a bit about your history with ATS and how you got here?
Okay, so what happened is 8 years ago, I closed another company that I used to run, and I joined ATS on the industrial side, where I ran one of the divisions. And then other directors decided to find greener pastures, which they all did, and then some of them are still in the industry. And then we, slowly but surely, I went up in the ranks, as you can call it, and then I was made an offer to work as a sales and marketing director. And our then boss, Richard Leake, who then turned 72, decided, well, he's had enough. and he decided to make his shares available, which we bought out 2 years ago now. 2 years, we're in the second year, and myself and Mandy Wecker, we own it equally, and yeah, it's been great. It's gone from strength to strength, which is, when you walk through the building now, it looks a bit scary because we're in the middle of moving, and it's been an unbelievable journey, and yeah, we look forward to what the future holds for us.
Wonderful. Well, Miss, I wish you all the best with the move and being in between buildings, but it doesn't look as bad as what you think.
No.
And tell me, Heinz, what is your guys' relationship with Dunlop?
So it's a very interesting one. So Dunlop, in 1982, with the previous boss, they decided to start importing tires as Dunlop. And then when the companies got bought out with Sumitomo Rubber Industry, that's actually the holding company of Dunlop, which also owns Falcon. That's why you might see a Falcon branded tire in the SAES, but it's the exact same tire. They took over from them, and they started selling tires from 1982. And what's interesting with us is that we actually own the tires. We bring them in via Japan, we take over ownership of them, and then we distribute them. Because one important part that people maybe don't know is that tires are brought in under a rebate permit, where you actually get you don't pay import duties on them, but then you can only have registered competitors. You can only sell it to registered competitors, so we're very strict on that. So on slicks it's quite easy, but on the semi-slicks, for that, people don't end up using them on the road.
Okay.
And then basically from 82, it just grew from strength to strength. They used to do motorbikes, but then it was felt that they needed to diversify, and they've given that to somebody else. But on the track racing, we're obviously involved with a lot of series, and that's mainly due to the relationship we built with the different series, because we as ATS also are part owners in, or we part invested as well, because whatever money Dunlop puts in, we also put in a percentage to help the sport in the long run.
Okay. I feel like the entire motorsport industry's all got the same long-term goal in mind, is just to grow the industry. Okay, so that's the Dunlop tires. And with regards to ATS, what sort of goodies do you supply the racers and the drivers and teams?
So it's actually crazy. We deal with 80 different companies worldwide. So we're basically a massive import company. That's probably what keeps us busy 80% of the time. We make sure that everybody has all the right brake components, has all the right safety equipment, that we are all up to date with all the safety equipment. All our people that work for us know what's going on, that it can advise all the different series and the different people that buy from us to buy the right equipment for their series. For example, also on the fire extinguishers, I mean, you need to have them serviced every 2 years, and you can't send them overseas with a pressurized container. So we do things like that. We've got trained personnel in our company that do that for all the endurance people and all the other competitors. So to give you an idea, at the last Kalame Regional Extreme event, we had 196 cars on our tires. And it was insanely busy, but we got through the day, but it was awesome at the end of the day as well. So yes, we support a lot of series when it comes to that. But also we do, for example, for all the off-road teams, not only track racing, we also do off-road rallying, some drag racing, and we also definitely also get involved in oval track, which is one of our big growth industries. There's a lot of young drivers coming through from oval track, as maybe if you followed the National Extreme this weekend, Jason Loosemore, I think, had his first overall win after 2 years. So it's incredible to see that talent's coming through from oval track, for example. But yes, as I said, we have 80 brands that we represent in this country solely, and yes, we make sure everybody's got the right equipment at the right time, at the right safety level.
And yeah, and I'm so excited to get my overall. It's in the making. And then the last question I have for you is, being a part of the SAES, what does that entail for you?
So for us, our day starts, for our crew, for example, was we provide a tire service. So we basically have a whole crew that travels with us that normally actually also works for us on a permanent basis. And then at the different towns, which is nice, we bring local staff from the local Dunlop regional offices on board, and we give them they work with the race teams on the weekend, and we give them a certificate. So we basically arrive on a Thursday afternoon, and we change, an extreme day, we can change between 200 or 300 tires on the race weekend. At an endurance event, we'll probably do 100, 200 tires on the event, but it takes a lot longer because they're slicks and they need to be balanced. So that's normally, and then we stick around until we finished and then pack up and normally head home on a Sunday morning like everybody else.
Okay. Well, thank you for being a part of our series, and thank you for having us at your half-empty building today. I'm joking. Yes. And yeah, thank you for your time, and I look forward to seeing you guys in PE, and like you said, maybe we can come get some snippets of your guys set up there and get some views of the tire changing and how things run. Excellent. For our viewers to see.
It's great to be involved with the series, obviously. I mean, makes a lot of sense. Also for Dunlop, if I can just add that in, that they're very happy to be involved because their product is based on longevity, and the endurance series really plays into that sort of field that we can showcase the Dunlop product.
Awesome. Well, we are grateful for all of you to be on board. Thank you.
Thanks.
So the Friday program looks as follows. We've got qualifying for Super V as well as race 1 of 3 on Friday afternoon. Thereafter, we have qualifying for the SAE as well as night practice for all of our gentlemen before the big day on Saturday. Saturday, the 1st of June, we kick off at 10 a.m. with our first race with a couple local races. Some to mention are the EP Regional Saloons, Clubman's, Coastal Challenge, AMSC, the Retro Class, Open Tops, and again Super V. And then at 3:30, we start our grid walk, which you can purchase a ticket for just 300 Rand to get involved on the grid walk. Come meet the drivers, meet the teams, take your pictures, get your autographs. Tickets are limited for that, and the race will kick off at 4 o'clock. So who's out and who's in for round 3? Who's in? BBR is back. We've got Stradali Motorsports, our reigning champ from 2023, who's in. We have MJR Motorsports. Unfortunately, last round in practice, they had a bit of a spin out, so ended up in the kitty litter, so they weren't able to make the race, but they are in. We've got Sphere Motorsport, which is a new team, and we've got G&H Transport in. Right, who's out? Raman Africa, out. Revolution Racing, out. Xena Chemicals, out. Samlin Racing, unfortunately their cars suffered quite a bit at Swartkorps for round 2, so they're still waiting for parts. Unfortunately, they're going to miss round 3. And then Graphic Supply World, also due to business, is also unfortunately out for round 3. So that's it for our pre-race show, and as we know, it comes down to the very last lap in most of our races when everything changes last minute. The last time we had a 5-hour endurance race, everything changed in the last 20 seconds of the race. So don't miss this one, okay? This is what you need to know. 1st of June, Aldo Scribante in Gqeberha. Tickets are 100 Rand per person. A grid walk is 300 Rand, but tickets are limited, so be sure to grab them as soon as possible. Otherwise, catch us on our live stream on YouTube or on Supersport. That's all from myself, Nadine Wilkin, and the entire SAES team. We look forward to seeing you on the 1st of June. Thank you and goodbye.